I know! We can act like plants! Photosynthesis! Photosynthesis!
Want to go to the park?
Plants absorb CO2 and incorporate carbon into their tissues during photosynthesis. Carbon returns to the air when plants decompose.
As plants respire, they return carbon to the atmosphere. The amount of carbon respired is not equal to the amount of carbon absorbed as plants photosynthesize.
And I need you, and I miss you.
A large amount of carbon is exchanged between the atmosphere and the ocean. The amount of CO2 released from the ocean is equal to the amount that diffuses into the ocean. Some CO2 enters the ocean via algae.
So we know that the ocean can take up 25% of the man-made CO2 from the atmosphere, which is good because it slows down the greenhouse effect. If we look at this very thin surface layer, the CO2 molecules hit the surface and are slowed down due to laminar flow effects. Most of them react with water molecules and create bicarbonate. The sea surface microlayer is populated by phytoplankton, which are photosynthetic microbes. In order to produce energy and grow, they need a carbon source. CO2 can be taken up directly, whereas bicarbonate has to be converted to CO2 by an enzyme, which is located on the outer surface of the phytoplankton.
It's you, and now I wonder if
Some carbon combines with calcium to form calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate precipitates from the water and forms limestone and dolomite rock. Sediment forms the largest pool of the slow carbon cycle.
Extraction is carried out by humans and is a relatively new phenomenon. Humans extract carbon compounds to use as fossil fuels.
Here's how it works. Plants, like these tiny diatoms encased in silica shells, grow in the upper layers of lakes and oceans, using the sun's energy to turn carbon dioxide and water into more plants. When they die, if they're buried where there's little oxygen to break them down, their chemical bonds retain the energy that began as sunlight. If enough carbon-rich matter is buried deeply enough, for long enough, the Earth's heat and pressure turn it into fossil fuel, concentrating the energy that once fed the growing plants.
Humans burn fossil fuels and timber, releasing large amounts of CO2 into the atmosphere. Combustion also releases carbon into the soil as ash.
Human activity, such as the burning of fuels, happens at both mobile and stationary sources, such as smokestacks. It also comes from burning wood, dust, construction activities, agriculture, and decomposing waste. Natural sources of air pollution include dust from sandstorms, radon, volcanic activity.
Without humans, the carbon cycle is a steady state. Decomposers release carbon at the same rate at which it is added.
Human contribution to the carbon cycle is added CO2 in the atmosphere. Excess CO2 causes more heat to be trapped near the atmosphere. The added heat causes a myriad of global warming problems.
Light energy that hits off carbon particles in the atmosphere travels out in all directions. Some returns to the Earth's surface. Wavelength calculation allows scientists to calculate how much light energy rebounds off carbon particles back to the Earth.
As temperature due to greenhouse gases rises, mass bleaching and infectious diseases are likely to be more frequent. Increased CO2 in the ocean has already begun to reduce calcification in reef-building organisms. Increased carbon emissions also cause ocean acidification.
And I need you, and I miss you.